Hello and welcome. So in this video we are going to be talking about a Victorian influencer, if you will, and how he started off a very strange craze in Britain. Bob Carlisle was an adventurous person. Born on the 29th of December 1848 in Edinburgh, Scotland, Bob had many jobs throughout his life. He was in the Royal Navy, then a seafarer in the merchant fleet. He worked as a circus showman, a clown, advertising agent, and a big cat trainer. He was actually sacked from being a big cat trainer after he walked through a Cornish town with an unmuzzled tiger on a lead. Bob also worked on the railways as a carpenter and painter and was an author and public speaker. And he also started off the Victorian long-distance wheelbarrow craze. During the Victorian era, the sport of pedestrianism was very popular. It involved walking long distances, and Bob decided he was going to give it a go. Bob was working in St Austell, Cornwall, when the famous American pedestrian Edward Payson Weston had come to Britain to do a walking tour. Edward had passed through St Austell during his walk, and seeing him, Bob took up a wager saying that nobody in St Austell could match Edward's walking prowess. This wager was accepted, and the next day Bob walked from St Austell to Truro and back, winning the bet. Bob decided to enter various pedestrianism competitions around the country and started to make a name for himself. But Bob wanted to stand out from the other pedestrians. Bob had heard about two Americans pushing a wheelbarrow coast to coast across America, so decided to do the same thing, pushing a wheelbarrow across Britain from Land's End to John O'Groats and back again. Bob started his wheelbarrow adventure at the end of 1879. People loved his little adventure, and at every town he passed through he would stop and give lectures, mainly about his life. He would also give talks about temperance, even though he had issues with alcohol. Bob would walk 30 miles a day with his wheelbarrow, which had a Union Jack on a flagpole attached to it. His walk took him 72 days. Bob saw his adventure as a way to earn fame and fortune. For this he needed the newspapers to cover his story, so he would write to the newspapers to tell them what area he would be going to next, so that they could be there for when he arrived. After his wheelbarrow walk from Land's End to John O'Groats, Bob took part in a few more long-distance walking events before going to sea, and it was while he was at sea that the wheelbarrow craze took off. At the end of 1886, inspired by Bob Carlisle, two men decided to have a race pushing a wheelbarrow from Newcastle to London. This was picked up by the Newcastle Evening newspaper. One of the men, James Gordon, had started pushing his wheelbarrow from Dundee, Scotland, heading for London. When he reached Newcastle, he was joined by the amazingly named Sawdust Jack, who wanted to race James to London. In 1887, pushing wheelbarrows for long distances became all the rage, with people all over the country going on adventures with their wheelbarrows. Many of these wheelbarrow pedestrians would carry unusual objects in their wheelbarrows, like bathtubs and coffins, and they would attempt to take their wheelbarrows to more unusual and challenging locations, like the top of Ben Nevis. So when Bob returned to Britain, he found out that his fame as the long-distance wheelbarrow man had been taken over by James Gordon. Now, Bob was not too happy about this, so he decided to start pushing wheelbarrows long distances again, even doing the Land's End to John O'Groats route again, so that he could become the most famous wheelbarrow pedestrian in Britain again. But Bob did find this difficult, as he found that he would often be upstaged by other people doing the wheelbarrow walks, and also people doing the route in new inventions like the car. So Bob died on the 7th of September 1912 in Ayrshire, Scotland, but his legacy does live on as Britain's first long-distance wheelbarrow pedestrian. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.